Hello and God bless all the YouTube friends. This is Greg. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about some old canvas I found in a crate. Earlier in the year I was over at my dad's house helping him clean up, and in the garage underneath some paint cans and an old tarp was an old green wooden military surplus crate, and in it was a treasure trove of equipment that I hadn't seen or touched in almost 45 years since the days that I had been a scout. And it elicited a trove of recollection of overnighters, weekend events, week-long jamborees, section hiking on the Appalachian Trail, through hiking with scout equipment. My scoutmaster, retired Air Force pilot, SEER School instructor, Colonel Gene Evans. And in the crate were 4 different tents that I ended up buying at flea markets when the prices plummeted with floorless tents. Gosh, I can see the name of the thing. It came out, little pup tent with a floor. I couldn't afford it. Typical mint green Boy Scout tent, and I wanted one more than life, but I couldn't afford the $20 or $30 that the new ones are. But after that, these other tents could be had in flea markets for $3 or $4, which is where I got them. So one of them, I'll point out, I took on the Appalachian Trail with my grandpa. Another one I took on the Pacific Crest Trail. And just for backup, we took one of the tarps that you'll see in a minute. So let me see if I can change the view on this, and then we'll have a look. Okay, I'm not so good at this. Not good at all. Okay, let me shut it off and we'll add to it. Okay, here's one. This one, let's see if I can get it to focus. This one was the biggest. It's called a camper. Notice on the tag it says if you take good care of things, they last a lot longer, which was a mantra from our scout leader. So let me back up and have a look at it. It said it was plenty enough for 2 boys. It was giant, except for weekend events. I never really used this one, so as a consequence, it's probably in the best shape. Grab and have a look at iPhone photography. See my backyard and my raised garden beds. So tons of space for 2 boys and cots on my little hill. The next one, this is the one I took on the Pacific Crest Trail when I was just a little guy. Get over here and have a look at its bag. This one, get it in close enough. It's called the 49er, a little bit bigger. Can't believe we drug these things on the Pacific Crest Trail, but we did. Didn't have a whole lot of rain issues, but in the north, as we got toward the terminal end up near Canada, it was nice to keep rain and snow off. This next little guy, the focus, the overnighter. This was the one I went on the Appalachian Trail with my grandpa when I was a little guy. Got me out of school. I was having an absolutely miserable year, failing everything, and took me for a drive up to Georgia. And we started at the southern end and had a several-month walk to Canada. And so this is what we took on the Appalachian Trail. Open-ended, no floor, just a little bit of a wedge. And typically what we would do is we would take the next one and stretch it over some trees to have a dry place, and then we would set up this one in the dry patch that was underneath. We had in the same crate some old pieces of plastic that became the drop cloths for it. And this one is the one that probably got the most use over the years. There are just so many things you could do to it. They called it the Boy Scout Trail Tent. Really, all it was a 10 by 12 tarp of waxed canvas. So I have it here just with a waist high ridge line Interstate down, we could stretch the front out to have, what did Grandpa call it, a front porch mode. But we would set this up in our camp, wherever we were for the night on the Appalachian Trail, and get a dry spot to get sorted out and put all of our equipment. And then we would decide where to put this little wedge of a tent to set up our stuff. Similarly, on the Pacific Crest Trail, the tarp came with us, and some nights, if we didn't have inclement weather, we just set up the tarp with our walking sticks and tent post. And this one, wow, it's really in the best shape. Really never made a history of carrying it much of anywhere. It will be worth an experiment and maybe a video offering to bring out the wooden crate and show all of the things that we carried with us on the Appalachian Trail and my Boy Scout equipment from back in the day. Two of the items from that crate that came with me out here today is another flea market find, 1940s. Who made this thing? Stockbridge. I know you can see the Boy Scout fleur-de-lis. This was the knife our Scoutmaster gave us after we had earned our Toten Chip, which is Boy Scout speak for Toten Chip. What was it? It was a qualification that us boys got when we could prove to Colonel Evans and his leadership staff that we could be responsible with bladed tools. So this one is an old hickory that has been somewhat modified, and maybe on another offering we'll have a look at it to describe both the history of Old Hickory and the other knife companies that were in that part of New York State, and by way of this one's personal history, some of the modifications to the original Old Hickory 7-inch butcher knife. So thanks for dropping by, and see you next time out in the woods.